Hey everyone, today we are discussing the Lewis dot structure, molecular geometry, and bond angles for boron trifluoride. The chemical formula is Bf3, with one boron atom bonded to three fluorine atoms. Beginning with the Lewis dot structure, we have to count the total amount of valence electron the molecule has, which is 3 from the boron atom and then 21 from the three fluorine atoms that each have 7 valence electrons. That will give us a total of 24 valence electrons for us to use. Because boron is less electronegative than fluorine, we place it in the center and surround it with the three fluorine atoms. Then we draw 3 single bonds to connect them. That means we have already used 6 valence electrons to represent the single bonds, and we have 18 valence electrons remaining. We then use the remaining electrons to complete the octets for the fluorine atoms. That will give us the full Lewis dot structure for boron trifluoride. You might see that boron does not follow the octet rule, but in this molecule, boron is perfectly fine with that. It's one of the few molecules or one of the few elements you have to know that does not follow the octet rule. Moving on to the molecular geometry of boron trifluoride, we can see that it is trigonoplanar with 3 bonded pairs and 0 lone pairs. Now the only bond angle that this molecule has is 120 degrees, which is very convenient to know. Now that is it with the molecular geometry and bond angles. However, I would also like to discuss the question of whether this molecule is polar or not. Now, the bond between two elements is considered polar if the difference of the electronegativity values is greater than 0.4. We can see that the difference between fluorine and boron is 2.0, which is way above 0.4. Because it has polar bonds, we might consider this molecule to be polar. However, because it is trigonoplanar with a symmetric charge distribution on the central atom, we can say that it is nonpolar, which might be confusing at first, but we say that it has polar bonds, but overall it is a nonpolar molecule.